Every Saturday morning, we do our whip around South Jersey, the South Jersey Sports Report, and as always, joining us in the second segment, Mike McGarry from the Press of Atlantic City. Joining us on the Boardwalk Honda Hotline here on 97.3 ESPN. Mike, how you doing this morning?
Hey, Josh, how are you?
I'm doing all right. Yesterday was a pretty tumultuous day in South Jersey on multiple fronts, and the front I wanted to address with you first, if it's all right with you, is the news of Bill Walsh, because I think that that's a story that's kind of being overlooked now because of what happened last night at Pleasantville, and I don't think we should overlook it. I think it's a very important and big thing to discuss about, Bill Walsh's significance and importance in the community, what he meant not just to Holy Spirit football, but the whole South Jersey sports arena. So I wanted to give you an opportunity to elaborate more on Bill Walsh and his impact.
Yeah, absolutely. A sad day yesterday at Holy Spirit, and a sad day for kind of everybody connected with South Jersey football and Cape Atlantic League. I mean, Coach Walsh passes away from ALS or Lou Gehrig's disease. And, simply the best way to explain his impact is I'm not sure, if Holy Spirit would exist today or what it would look like today if Bill Walsh was not a part of its history. And certainly it wouldn't be the same. I mean, the football program was floundering back in 2002, 2003 when he took over. He also became that school's director of, institutional advancement, which means, he was kind of the guy responsible for fundraising and attracting kids to that school. And, he really pumped life back into Holy Spirit in both jobs. And, you look at the impact that he had, you look at the quotes that people had in the story that I did. You look at the game last night, the reaction, the number 16 jerseys, which is his number everywhere. You look at the way the Holy Spirit community kind of rallied to help him with the Walshy Warriors thing and everything. And, and you see the impact that he had on people's lives. I mean, here is a guy who influenced, countless people's lives in a positive direction. And, at the end of the day, I mean, what's better than that?
And we know Holy Spirit won in a big way last night. I think a lot of people expected that, but it also had to feel like, with, the new helmets, with just what I saw online, Mike, the vibe that was over there, you don't have to be there, and you felt, there was a level of emotional, outpouring going on over there last night.
Yeah, I mean, obviously the great job they did, in the days leading up, to Coach Walsh passing away, they had decided to put his number 16 on their helmets. Coincidentally, or maybe it was just fate, Elijah Gray, their standout running back, wanted to wear the number 16 jersey. And Coach AJ Russo had texted Coach Walsh on Thursday and said, "What do you think of that?" And Coach Walsh had texted back, I think it's great. I love it. I think it's perfect. And then the next day he passes away. So, obviously, who his daughter Kelly, who I've talked to several times, who's a senior at Holy Spirit and absolutely, great kid. Kind of leads the team back onto the field for last night's game. I mean, I don't think there's a person in the Cape Atlantic League or South Jersey or Holy Spirit that's not moved by that. And again, you come back to, Coach Walsh and what he believed in and the influence he had over people. And you saw it last night in Upseekin.
And Holy Spirit did win 54-16 last night in non-public too. Mike, before we get to your game at US, speaking of Holy Spirit, are we pretty much destined for another Holy Spirit St. Joe showdown, you think?
Yeah, it certainly seems that way. It would seem to be headed in that direction. Obviously, it's football and anything can happen, but I think we're going to see that matchup at Rutgers University on that first full weekend in December sometime. Both teams will play semifinal games next weekend, and then, Holy Spirit will play Atlantic City on Thanksgiving, and then the St. Joe Holy Spirit matchup. Barring a huge upset, we should see those two schools meeting again for the state non-public 2 title, just as they did last year. St. Joe won last year, and of course this year they played a regular season game. Holy Spirit got up at halftime, and St. Joe came back to edge them in the second half. So it should be another great game in a couple of weeks at Rutgers between those two schools.
The game you were at last night, Mike, Hamilton edging out the win 32-29. They're going on to the Group 4 Central Championship. It seems like that was a very interesting, tight game. Kind of paint the picture for the audience who were not there last night.
It was a great game between two great football programs, and on a day, a lot of stuff happened. A lot of stuff happened. It's great just to see a great high school football game between two schools that are really perennial powers. Middletown South has won 10 sectional titles. Hamilton has won 5 sectional titles. They've been down, the past couple of years with a losing record, though they did make the 2017 South Jersey Group 4 final with a losing record. But, Hamilton's back now, 8 wins in a row, 9-2, and the story of the game, 21-14, Middletown South goes up. They have all the momentum in the world. You think, hey, they finally worn the Blue Devils down. This is it. And Caleb Nardi, senior wide receiver and defensive back who grew up in Hamilton, played for the Hamilton Hawks of the Atlantic County Junior Football League, understands what football means to that town, understands what it means to be a Hamilton high school football player. He scores 3 straight touchdowns. He catches a touchdown pass. He runs for a touchdown and catches another touchdown pass. Those 3 straight touchdowns put the Blue Devils up in front, and they never trail again, and they hang on for a 32-29 victory over Middletown South, and now they'll go on and host Jackson Memorial in the Central Jersey title game next Friday.
How does this Hamilton team stack up against teams in the past, Mike?
Well, I think this Hamilton team is excellent. I mean, you've got, again, last year, we all know about Jaden Abrams, the tremendous running back that they have, who's rushed for more than 1,500 yards. He really kind of emerged last year as one of South Jersey's top running backs. But last year, they kind of just relied on Jaden. They didn't have too much else. This year, they've got Caleb Nardi in the flow. They've got quarterback Ryan Bartz, who was 5 for 5 last night for 101 yards and 3 touchdowns. So defenses just can't go in there and focus on Jaden Abrams. They've got some outstanding defensive players. Brock Weissman, the game really turned last night. Middletown South's up 21-20. Early in the fourth quarter, they've got it 4th and 2 at their own 47. Instead of punting, they go for it on 4th down. Brock Weissman comes through, tackles the Middletown South ball carrier for a 2-yard loss, and then 3 plays later, Nardi's running down the field for a touchdown to give Hamilton the lead. So, the game kind of turned on that one sequence right there. And, of course, Hamilton last year had a number of sophomores on the offensive line, Michael D'Agostino, Brock Beebe, Johnny Sibilia. Now they're juniors. They're bigger. They're stronger. So this Hamilton team is not only good this year, they're going to be a team to watch next year also.
Mike McGarry joining us, the Boardwalk on the hotline on 97.3 ESPN. You can follow him on Twitter at AC Press McGarry. Another game last night, Mike, that was an incredible finish. Ocean City comes from behind. Joe Rapetti threw 3 interceptions earlier in the game, and yet he still leads them down the win 21-20. I mean, this Ocean City team is just making this improbable run all the way to the championship. They beat Mainland last week. Now they're beating Long Branch. I mean, this is just really impressive.
Yeah, great win. And what do they say about, shooters shoot, quarterbacks got to throw the football. You got to have a short memory if you're going to be a quarterback, a shooter, or a baseball reliever or closer, right? So Joe Rapetti, hit some adversity earlier in the game, and he's able to come back and a big win up at Long Branch against a traditional Central Jersey Shore Conference power. I mean, that's a Long Branch team that had won 2 straight Central Jersey Group 4 titles. So that's a tremendous win for Ocean City. And Ocean City will travel to Shawnee next Friday night for the South Jersey Group 4 Championship. And again, it's a bit of a surprise, but, I thought all along, Ocean City, a very talented football team. Physically, they can really play with anybody. And I thought that, back in earlier this season when they went and played St. Augustine, and although they lost that game 35-3, I was impressed with the way physically Ocean City played. So, I don't think there's a team that Ocean City can't match up with physically. And when you can do that, you've got a chance to win a football game.
Mike, before I let you go, I wanted to give you the opportunity to touch on the news that came out of Pleasantville last night. I opened the show talking about the fact that, I think the bigger deal to me about what happened last night is, to me, sports is like a sanctuary. It's an escape for people from the real world. And in many ways, the lives of everybody who was there last night, in many ways, I feel like was violated by this incident.
Yeah, I mean, just, when the thought that comes to your head is right away is just incredible sadness. I mean, just incredible sadness for everybody that was there. Obviously, for the victims of the shooting, for the players on both teams, it's just an incredible sadness. And I've been to 1,000 sporting events in Pleasantville, in my time at the Press of Atlantic City, and my heart just breaks for everybody that was there, including Coach Chris Sacco and his players. And the victims. I mean, it's the victims most of all. I mean, right now that you have to think about. And, the sight of players kind of sprinting from a football field in fear, running through a fence at the far end of the football field to get back into the locker room or to get to safety, fans running, scrambling out of stands and stuff like that. I mean, it's just when you look at that, it's just a feeling of overwhelming sadness.
Well, on a little more positive note, Mike, will you be at any games today?
Yeah, I mean, I got two events today. I'll be at the State Cross Country Championships first up at Homedale Park. Mainland Regionals Kevin Ansek, one of the favorites in Group 3, the Ocean City Girls. Opportunity for the Group 3 team title. And then, of course, later in the day, I'll be up in West Orange. St. Augustine Prep will face Seton Hall Prep in a state non-public 4 game. St. Augustine 6-3, number 1 in our Elite 11, winners of 5 in a row, and really playing well. And we'll see what they can do against a team. People normally don't think of Seton Hall Prep as one of those North Jersey powers, but they did beat St. Joe and Montvale, who is one of those North Jersey powers, 28-27 a couple of weeks ago. So it'll be a big test for the Hermits of St. Augustine.